Hey guys, I'm here to show you guys a little bit about what might be my favorite technological resource that I bring into my math class. It is called Prodigy. Prodigy, when you first come onto the website, it says the most engaging math platform in the world. And after using it last year in fourth grade and this year in sixth grade math, I think that it might have that argument. It is incredibly engaging. Students love it. And in my class, I use it in a variety of ways. The reason why I bring this to you just is because I feel that if you're a math teacher and you're looking for a way to bring technology into class, Prodigy is a great way to get students involved. It gets them engaged, and it really has a lot of different tools that I'm going to go over that that really help with their math. The goal with bringing Prodigy is to supplement my curriculum, and it helps them. The way I use it might be a little bit different than some. You can use Prodigy kind of like Khan Academy and go for mastery. The way I use it is more of a review tool, and I'll talk about how I do that here in a minute. So I think this program is directed towards my coworkers who teach math and the students because and the parents for that matter because you can take Prodigy home with you and play at home and practice learning at home. Okay, so let me log in here and let me show you some of the powers that Prodigy has. When you first get on, when you make your class, it has a class code, kind of like Kahoot. Once they join that class code, then they're in your class. In mine, I have every one of my students in the same class, just because if I'm doing something with one student, then or with one class, then I'll just do it with all my classes. Um, so here is kind of where I'm at right now. It has a bunch of different reports that you can see about the usage of what your students are doing. You can see kind of each student and what they're where they're at right now. It shows how many questions have been answered. So on Wednesday we used it a lot in class. So for example, I had 473 questions answered last Wednesday. Thursday was 295. Friday wasn't as much because we weren't in the classroom very much. Another cool thing about Prodigy is that you can create an assignment. This assignment can go along with what you're doing with what your normal lesson is. So if I'm doing something over, so I can go into create an assignment and I can make an assignment and it has your location down. So it doesn't matter where you're at. It links it with what standards you are using, which is awesome. So you don't have to do any extra work. It's there for you. Mine's sixth grade. So if I'm doing the addition of decimals, I can add to tenths, to hundredths, and thousandths, and it'll create an assignment with 3 questions each. I can assign it to all my students, and then I can pick a day when I assign it and when I want it due. So it has the homework aspect. You can do assessments in it. You can differentiate with it. The reason why students like it so much is because it's pretty much a video game. We just talked a lot about game-based learning, and Prodigy is pretty close to game-based learning. It is it is a lot like their favorite video games. So you can play against a friend, you can battle a friend. It's all about the theme of it is wizardry. So that kind of if they're Harry Potter people, then that kind of has the common interest. And I'll show you some gameplay because since I'm not a student, I don't have it set up to where I can play, and so I'll just let you see an example of what it would look like. So in this situation, this is the home student, and they're playing a friend. So you can get their username, and you can play against each other over the same mathematical topic. So you can attack, you can do all this stuff. I'm not as familiar with all of this stuff as the kids are, but they know what all this is, and your goal is to essentially use these spells to win the battle. So when you attack, it gives you a math question. So here's the math part coming into play. You have your pencils over here. In this section, it has virtual manipulative. So if they're doing fractions, you can physically see the fractions, which is awesome. So, and when I'm walking by, I see them with their pencil. They're writing. In the situation, they'd have 18 plus 10, and they're just writing all over the place on this. And then when they put in their correct answer, this hint right here gives them a little hint as well. So if they're adding right now, so they're putting their correct answer in, and then when you hit cast spell, here's the hint option. When you hit cast spell, that's when you go back to your, that's when you see if the answer was correct or not. And then here's the video game part. You casted a spell on them and you injured them, and then there's their question. So that last piece was them answering a question that was correctly back. So it's a very interesting game. It has all the feel of a video game while learning math. Kids are engaged. What I use it for is when they get done with an assignment, when they get done in a test, they can get on Prodigy. I use it in my tier 2. I can go in and override their diagnostic test that they take at the very beginning, their placement test. And I've gone in and overrided a lot of my kids to the grade previous, so it's more of a review. So my tier 2, I set it a little bit lower because it is a little bit harder, and so they're doing stuff in grade 5, and that has seemed to really help out a lot. They're getting more questions right, and they're understanding it a lot, and hopefully they're filling in gaps that they had from previous grades. My standards for Prodigy is the designer. Educators design authentic learner-driven activities and environments that recognize and accommodate learner. The first one is use technology to create and adapt and personalize learning experiences. And the second one is to design authentic learning activities that align with content area standards and use digital tools to maximize active deep learning. And like I said, with Prodigy, it's aligned to your standards, and they're learning, they're having fun, they're engaged, and for me, that's about as much as you can ask for.